Good day, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the show on this 27th, Thursday, the 27th of October, 2020. I'm going to tell you guys what. At the end of this show, I'm going to do the markets first, and at the end of this show, I'm going to lay out a scenario for you guys. What I think is going to happen over the next so many months, and we're headed toward doom. I'm going to explain to you exactly how I see things playing out over the next number of months, and when that doom is going to occur. And what I mean by doom is I mean something really bad is coming. And wait until the end of the show, until I'm done doing the markets, and I'll explain it to you guys. And I'll try to take my time and explain how I see the stages going and what's happening. Anyway, so let's get started. Let's open up the charts right here and take a look at these markets. We're going to take a look at the silver price today first. 24.42 for silver. It's up 18 cents on the day. And, you know, it's doing good because the Dow Jones is rolling over today, and it's been rolling over for a couple days now. And so silver and gold, it hasn't gone unnoticed by me, the fact that silver and gold prices haven't dropped with the market this time. I see that as a change, and I'm not exactly sure what it means, but I think what it means is that there's a weakening in the paper silver markets as far as them selling off GLD and SLV. You know, GLD and SLV represent the physical part of the market, you know, and the fact that they're not even selling off the GLD or SLV when the market sells off is a sign that things have changed a little bit. Let's take a look at cryptocurrency today. 402.9 billion. It's on a tear. It's on a tear, guys. Crypto's on a tear. 61.9% Bitcoin dominance, and a Bitcoin price of $13,500 right now. We're looking at Ethereum at 403. It's getting to be a pretty warm little price there on Ethereum now. It's heated back up again. Let's take a look now at Dow Jones Industrial Average. You know, it's down 108 points on the day. Refresh the page here, down 75 points. Oh, she's climbing right now. But I think it's still going to end the day in the red. Let's take a look now at at our crude oil prices. Crude oils went up a little bit, heading back up to $40. You know, they've been keeping it at $40, awful steady over the last little while. Well, let's go back 6 months, and you can see this flat line up here at $40, just more or less, just keeping it. It's almost like they've put a set price in. OPEC has put a set price in for it, and Russia's working together with OPEC to keep it around $40. Bonds and rates. U.S. Treasuries are dropping yields. Now, I told you guys they're probably going to try to keep the U.S. 10-year at 0.75. Well, it's at 0.78 today. U.S. 30-year at 1.5. It's at 1.57. So they've dropped a couple basis points off of these yields. They can't let these yields rise. The tendency of the market is for, as the dollar goes down, you know, and the dollar starts to go into this inflationary period that's gonna be coming up in a few months down the road, you know. The tendency is for these bond yields to explode. In other words, the bond market to fall. They're going to have to do yield curve control on this, and it's inevitable. They might already actually be doing it. That, you know, I mean, it's one of those things where now we've got the Fed is like unhinged. They're doing everything that they can to try to hold everything together, and they're not going to quit. There's no room for them to quit, and they're going to keep doing this. What's in action right now is going to keep in action, and that is that the Fed is going to do whatever it takes and print unlimited amounts of money to do it, and that's where we're at. Let's take a look now at U.S. dollar index, 92.85 and dropping down today. It's down 1/5 of a penny. 92.85 today. Let's take a look at the MOVE index now. See, the move index has been going sideways lately, but it's up a little bit today, 0.85%. But it's basically been going sideways ever since Tuesday, the 6th of October, when it took a sudden leap upwards. Takes one more sudden leap upwards like it did back in the 5th of October. And they're going to be getting itchy on their on trying to put out their new stimulus package to try to keep this move index down. See, they do a lot of stimulus, it moves the move index down. Okay, I'll talk to you guys about what I was going to talk to you about. Oh, first I want to do my picture. Let's take a look at our picture today. I know this is Photoshop, guys. I know it's Photoshop, but it is funny. It is funny. I've seen so many people that actually look like that, you know, and it's a good Photoshop. I really like it. Anyway, okay, I'm going to leave that picture on there while I talk to you guys. Here's the way I see it. Doesn't really matter if the virus is real or not. I look at the charts, the virus charts. And what I see is the charts going into a bubble, you know, just like any commodity or anything else, you know, if it was copper, if it was, it's going into a bubble, but it's got room to rise up yet. It's going to go higher, and, you know, it's probably going to peak maybe sometime around the end of the year, maybe around Christmas time, or maybe out as far as March before it peaks and starts to drop off. Well, you know, if they sit around and wait to release their shots or whatever, you know, if they sit around and wait too long and the virus starts to disappear on its own, the charts drop off. In other words, if the bubble bursts, well, then it's going to look like people are going to say, well, gee, we didn't need it, you know. So they're not going to let that happen. They're going to keep their eye on that chart. You know, and they're gonna release it just before it gets ready to pop all on its own, and then they're gonna take credit for it going away. I can tell you that they're not stupid. These people that plan all these things and have all these things planned out, they're not stupid. They're watching that chart like a hawk, you know, and they're not gonna wait until it falls. Well, anyway, getting back to the nitty gritty of it is, probably by about March, or maybe in the spring sometime, we're going to have two or three things happening simultaneously. One is that the Fed's going to be in these new programs, putting the money out there like crazy. Imagine the money just flying out the window, and all these new cards going out. Maybe even universal basic income. They'll have these new programs, and they'll be giving everybody in America cards for the new bank account to the Fed and everything else, and the Fed will just be pumping money out like crazy next spring, right? Same time next spring, this virus is probably going to start to disappear, and people are going to be lining up to get shots, right? And the shots are going to take all the credit for it. I'm going to say, oh, the shots did it. Look how the virus, well, it would have probably disappeared on its own. But they're going to time it so that it disappears at the same time. And then everybody's going to be lining up for shots. So the virus is going to be disappearing. People aren't going to be frightened anymore. So people are going to start coming out of their homes and going places and shopping with all this new money that's going to be pumped from the Fed. And once the Fed puts a program in, they never take a program out. You can't. Once you start a new social program, that's it. If you take it away, take the punch bowl away, the people go crazy. And so they'll have this new program in, they'll be pumping the money out like crazy. All these businesses and stuff that's closed, and what this is going to lead to, it's going to lead to a little bit of an economic recovery. But it's also leading to doom. It's also leading to doom. So picture it in your mind. The middle of next summer, everybody is in the middle, embroiled in this new thing where the money's flowing and the velocity of money's starting to pick up, and the virus is moving out and going, and it's summertime, and everybody's going to the beach again, and everybody's going to restaurants and everything. New restaurants are opening up. People are starting to travel again, and we're going into this recovery. Well, what's that going to do? Velocity of money is going to start to go up. You're going to start to see massive inflation all over. Every country is going to... I read yesterday, 80% of the central banks are going to go into this. in for this of the world to pump money to their citizens through different programs that they're going to have. And they're just going to be making basically full-scale, full-tilt money creation. Well, the dollar's going to start to turn to toast. But it's not going to turn to toast right away. We're going to have a good summer. I can see by next fall everything being back in gear again, and us almost feeling like we've returned back to normal again. Almost like it was in 2019. Things going maybe even hotter, maybe even more people having more money to spend and everything else, and everything's starting to boom again. It's going to be an absolute disaster, guys, because we're going to be booming in the midst of profoundly high inflation. This is called a crack-up boom. And what it's basically going to lead to ultimately is by the following winter. Now, we're moved into the winter of 2021, to starting to get winter time. November, December. The inflation's going to be going so fast at that point, everybody is going to rush to try to get out. They'll be buying gold, buying silver, buying everything, and there's going to be no gold and silver to be had. They'll be buying cryptocurrency, anything to get out. And that panic to get out is going to cause the whole system to implode with hyperinflation. And ultimately, we are going to hit a point, probably in the middle of winter or early the following spring. In other words, the spring of what would that be? The spring of 2022? Where the inflation's going to overwhelm the system. And it's going to lead to what's called a reset. And the reset is going to come at the end of the hyperinflation when the dollar has gone almost to zero. I mean, it's worth practically nothing anymore. Ultimately, that's the big disaster, is the reset. Because what it does is they have to switch over into some new form of currency that does have value. And when they do that, they erase all the debts. Well, a lot of people, they're deep in debt right now. This is going to be great for them. They get out of debt. They can get out of debt-free cards. I mean, the guy that has big student loans and everything else. I mean, this is going to be great for them. But what about the other side of that coin? What about pension funds? And what about all these people who have their retirement accounts and all these savers out there and everything else? They're going to be wiped out too. They're not going to have anything. So the people that have something, when the reset occurs, the people who have something lose it all. And the people who owe everything, who are so deep in debt they'll never know how to get out, they have all their debts wiped out. It's basically, the reset is a debt restructuring of the world. It's a debt restructuring of the world that happens suddenly. And that's the doom. That's the doom. I cannot see them making that transition. It's such an upheaval. It's such an event with such such an upheaval event. And what I'm trying to do in this show right now is time that for you guys. I'm timing out the scenario that's going to lead to that upheaval event. And that upheaval event is going to cause, just picture it. All these people that have the haves that are invested deeply in this fiat money Ponzi scheme are going to lose it all. You can't have that happen suddenly without it having tremendous upheaval to society. But it's a ways away yet. We're going to go through the good period before we get there. And that's always the way in the acceleration phase of a hyperinflation is the money starts to flow again. And that increases the economy. And that always happens before hyperinflation. And so we're heading right into the jaws of this doom, which is the reset itself. And I think we're a little bit more than a year away from it, maybe about 15 to 18 months from now. That's when it's going to actually happen, the real thing, the actual reset. And it's not going to be pretty, guys, when that occurs, But I think we're going to have our little boom time before we get there, where things have a somewhat of a return back to normal. Don't let it fool you. Don't let it fool you. When we start to probably next summer or next fall, When things feel good again, things are starting to return to normal, don't let that fool you. The doom is coming in the following winter or following spring, you know. And on this channel, we're going to follow these events as they occur. And this is going to be a record in the future. They'll be able to go over my record I'm creating here of this world-shattering event of what we call the reset that's coming in the future. Thank you guys for listening to my show. Like and subscribe. Give me a thumbs up. We'll catch you guys in the next episode. Bye-bye.